bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. A strange discovery made on Grand Bahama, and now a warning is going out regarding invasive species. Megan Shepard has the 411.
Operations Manager at Budget Pest Control Hugh Ferguson is expressing concern over the presence of several invasive species on Grand Bahama. The recent discovery occurred at a point of entry for goods coming into the island.
We then determined that the snake was the python, and it came from, I believe the shipment came from South Florida. And the disturbing thing about it was that a number of them, this particular one is a baby and the others were babies as well, but a number of them would have escaped, and this particular one was captured and killed.
Although the python is not a venomous snake, Ferguson says it still poses a threat.
The python itself is not a venomous snake, and so it's not going to strike you as the cobra would. It's not going to strike you or affect you as a rattlesnake would, for instance. But it is what is called a constrictor, and so it will, given say a 6 feet or so python, you will find that it can kill a child because it will simply wrap itself around the child and kill it. And the same thing goes for anything greater than about 12 to 14 feet. It can kill an adult.
Now, Ferguson says incidents such as this are happening too frequently. He notes that thousands of trailers pass through the ports daily, and the powers that be and residents alike need to be more concerned.
It is something that clearly we ought to be concerned about. Clearly the persons, the powers that be, needs to be concerned about, and we need to implement and put in place procedures, protocols, how to handle this, how do we monitor this, and so that we at least know what is going on, other than having the odd cases where a person discovers something, run into something and say, oh, you know, I just saw this, and we just seem to be responding ad hoc.
Ferguson says the introduction of such invasive species can have a negative impact on the comfort level of residents and visitors on Grand Bahama. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
The message of safety is finding its way into local schools throughout Grand Bahama. Though dormant for a number of years, officials believe the Safe Touch program is a valuable one since it can prevent sexual abuse among children. As Shakara Trott tells us, the Martintown Primary School is the latest school targeted.
Urban renewal officials have partnered with the Royal Bahamas Police Force and Fire Services Department to deliver the Safe Touch message to students at the Martintown Primary School. Principal Mary Russell calls it a timely intervention.
We're in an era where a lot of incest is going on, child molestation, and we need to sensitize our children as to what the good touches are, what the bad touches are. We need to heighten their awareness that whoever it is, and if they touch them in an inappropriate area, they need to tell someone.
The principal also emphasized the importance of victims coming forward if they are touched in inappropriate places.
We are partners with the police, and the police on a daily basis, they see kids come into their police station because they are molested, and so they are heightening the awareness of the students as to what these good and bad touches are.
Sergeant Chris Parr was a member of the initial Safe Touch team. He says they plan to take the message to every school.
We initially started with the High Rock School, and after about a couple of weeks, we're now in the 8 Mile Rock area, who have invited us to come and give the presentation to the students here at the school.
Barr also touched on the impetus behind the program.
Kids were just being experimental. Even if it touching in the wrong way, in a way playing, they didn't understand what they were doing was not right. So we brought the awareness, so hey, you know, no touch that is uncomfortable to anybody, whether it be it an adult or a child, is good. You know, because you can find yourself getting in problems, you end up before the court by an aggrieved parent or an adult who doesn't like the way it happened. So we try to make them aware of the 4 A's, that it can happen anywhere, anytime, by anyone, to anyone. And once they get that concept, they'll be okay. And also that it is never their fault. So you can always report it to an adult, a teacher, of course, the police.
It is what officials are calling crime prevention and a proactive approach to combating crime.
once the kids are aware, they could understand that, hey, oh, this is what has been happening, this is what I've been doing, let me withdraw, let me stop from doing it so I wouldn't get myself into problems, especially at a young age. And we believe that once we catch them at the primary school level, it will not boil over to the junior high and into the high school, and therefore grown young men and women of society.
Shakara Trott, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Shakara. Well, finally in news tonight, the youth of this island will be the focus during the second annual Youth Leadership Conference this weekend. Under the theme, Cultivating the Attitude of Leadership Among Young People, Reverend Wayne Carey of Family Empowering Youth says this conference will not just focus on young boys, but girls as well.
It's actually not just for, there's a lot of times we mostly target just men, just young men. We say young men, but in my expertise in terms of when you see trouble, the underlining of incidents that happens in school, it stems from the female rather than we just see the guys fighting, but it stems from the female. And so it's just not a conference for boys, it's also a conference for young ladies also too, because we believe when the young lady comes into leadership, when the guy is kind of unsure, she could kind of bring affirmation to him, and then that changes his whole perceptions also too. So we're not just looking at males, we're looking at females also too.
And what is the thing? He says a guest speaker for the event is president of the Falcons Boys Club, Darren Rule.
He'll be coming in. Darren has been affecting the youth in Grand Bahama for some time. And we thought fitting, for him to come and to be a positive rather than them just seeing him in a different way, but for us to bring him and that they can hear his story because he has something to say, passionate about youth, and so we're expecting a great time in that area.
Now, the leadership ceremony will be held at the 1A Kipling building this Saturday at 10 a.m.